My name's Amanda Moreno Lake, and I am with Jim Lake Companies. I am a partner at Jim Lake Companies at this time.
Jim Lake Jr., and I'm a CEO and partner in Jim Lake Companies, and I've been active in the company since 1985. Jim Lake Companies was started with my father back in 1965, and so he started in the industrial business, and that was my background as well. And then we morphed in and evolved into adaptive urban redevelopment over a long period of time with the redevelopment of Bishop Arts that we started back in 1985-86.
So I started, I think I started back in 1989, but I've not always been a landlord. I've also been a tenant, and I've had several businesses here in the Bishop Arts. I've had a beauty shop, a coffee shop, a Western store, a jewelry store. So I mean, I'm glad that I'm a property owner, but I think with relationships it's extremely important with tenants and landlords, and I've been on both sides, so I'm more sensitive than your normal landlord.
And so to follow up on, to fill the gaps on how we got from where we started to where we are today, is I started acquiring buildings in what was then the old Trinity Industrial District back in the late 1980s. And over about a decade period of time, we acquired around 800,000 square feet of industrial properties, and we started redeveloping those based on, and started to look at the model of what we were doing over in Bishop Arts District and how that was evolving. And it took a long time. There's a lot of things that had to happen to make that successful. Not only just our model where we don't sell for the most part. We're building heritage properties and with historically significant properties for Dallas and the surrounding area. And so when we look and see what we did with Bishop Arts District, where we're sitting right now is a result of some public improvements that was implemented by the city back around 2000 when they basically did the street trees, the wider sidewalks.
Well, we created a conservation, and that's when it was a private-public partnership.
Right. And it's really those two things. That really put the bow on the package, I always say. And we also had the long-term view that we were not sellers, and so that affects the way that we address our leases and the tenant mix, which is very important. So we took that model, and it was a different submarket, but we knew that something good was going to happen between the Trinity River and downtown Dallas, and so it's happening now. And over the time we did the first residential project in the design district with Trinity Loft, and now there's probably about half a dozen, and probably around 5,000 people living in the design district right now.
And I think the big misconception people have is that they call us developers, and I don't consider ourselves developers. I think we're redevelopers because we've never torn anything down. We love old buildings and repurpose them, and I think that puts us in a different category than most developers that are coming in and that are tearing things down and rebuilding from the ground up. And that's not what we do.
That's right.
So it's a big difference.
And we have a lot of involvement with our city leadership in different nonprofits. We're heavily involved with our city council and different Chamber of Commerce, the Oak Cliff Chamber of Commerce, Simmons Corridor Business Association, and also a huge supporter of Dallas Police.